Hi guys, it's me Arden Lee, and in today's video I'm going to be answering a question from one of our members of the Repatterning Parlor who asked a great question, which is, what do you do if you feel yourself going down a negativity spiral and you don't know how to get yourself out of it and you don't have the energy for positivity and gratitude? This is a great question. Oftentimes, let's say you're starting to feel a little bit of negativity come up, right? You got up, maybe you checked Facebook first thing in the morning instead of taking some time to ground or greet the day or meditate or whatever you do, and you saw some bad news, you saw a new article about Donald Trump, you saw someone behaving in a negative reactionary way. You immediately kind of got sucked into some of the negativity in the collective, and if you catch it early enough, you say, wait a minute, this is not what I want to focus on today. What kind of day do I want to have? I want to have a day where I get a ton of work done from a place of flow and effortlessness, which requires me to be in my positivity and in my ease. And how do I get there? Let me put my phone down and go and do my morning routine, take care of myself, drink some of my mushroom elixirs, right? My cordyceps coffee or whatever. Take my qualia, right? Do I have my qualia over here? It's here somewhere. I'm a Qualia affiliate, you guys. I'm a big fan of Qualia Mind. And if you go to neurohacker.com and you use discount code Arden, you can save 15% on Qualia. I am an affiliate, but I sought out that partnership myself because I love the product so much. So just an aside, Qualia is one great way to sort of shake some of those nascent negativity patterns. But sometimes, let's face it, sometimes you try to focus on positivity, and like the person who asked this question said, you find you don't have the energy for positivity and gratitude. I generally find that what that is it's not so much a lack of energy for positivity and gratitude, but the fact that the negative spiral is louder. And there's probably a reason why the negative spiral is louder. There's probably something that wants to be heard, felt, and acknowledged before it gets released. This is why toxic positivity is a thing that we're talking about now in sort of the spiritual and self-improvement communities, right? Oh, don't focus on that negativity. Oh, you'll get over it, or you're being negative, or whatever it is, to really legitimate feelings of negativity that might come up for you. Now, if you're looping around in pointless complaints about bullshit that shouldn't bother you, then yeah, you're going to want to look at that and look at that as merely a thought pattern that's sort of gravitating you toward things you can complain about, right? We see people like that online all the time. I'm like, why are you bitching about the woman who's in front of you at Wendy's? This is not something that needs to affect your day, right? Why are you giving your power away by complaining that your Lyft driver is talking to you, right? If you don't want to talk during your Lyft ride, it's perfectly acceptable to say to your driver, hey, thank you so much for being friendly, but you know what, I really prefer a quiet ride right now so I can focus on what I have to do when I get there or whatever, right? You can steal that one. I use that one all the time, right? Thank you so much for being friendly, but I really would prefer to focus on my inner thoughts right now, right? They don't care. They're probably grateful for the quiet too. They just didn't want to be rude either, right? So these silly things that we complain about that don't really affect us, if we're letting them affect us, then yes, that's a pattern where we are magnetizing ourselves towards these tiny things that irritate us or piss us off. But if there's negativity that you really can't shake just by changing your focus, like I said, that is oftentimes an indicator of an issue, a wound, a piece of unaddressed trauma. Maybe it's even like a tiny piece of trauma, right? But still something that really affected you, that wants to be heard and acknowledged and ultimately released. So if you're feeling that negative spiral, in my opinion, do what you need to do to get through the day and take care of yourself, right? Sometimes it's a matter of saying, okay, thank you, I hear you. I can't deal with you right now. I'm going to deal with you when we get home tonight, okay? So I'm going to put you in a little box for the time being. Don't worry, I'm not ignoring you, but we're going to get there at an appropriate time. And then you get home, and man, maybe you do. Maybe you smoke a bowl, not for escapism, but rather for like clarity and intention setting, if that's your thing. And you throw yourself a pity party and you focus on that negative feeling and you say, what's here? What is here that wants to be heard? I remember this happened to me once. It took me about 5 or 6 hours. This is like 2 years ago, so I was, less far along on my journey toward consciousness than I am now. But about 2 years ago, maybe, I remember feeling really irritable and negative all day, and feeling defensive, expressing myself in an irritated manner, getting pissed off at a lot of things. And it took me maybe 5 or 6 hours to realize that it had come from receiving a Facebook invitation to the photography exhibition of a man who had sexually assaulted me, who had groped me, coaxed me, coerced me into unwanted touch without my consent. And I hadn't healed that part of myself yet, because at the time it happened, when I was living in New York, I had not yet internalized the belief that my bodily comfort was actually more important than the importance of not hurting this man's feelings by telling him no, or drawing a strong boundary, or rejecting him, or whatever. I hadn't grieved that. And man, I was in a negativity spiral for about 5 or 6 hours before I realized where it was coming from. If you're even more at the start of your journey, it might take you more than 5 or 6 hours. That's why we have therapy and we have facilitators. But don't beat yourself up if there's negativity that's not going away. If there's something that you feel is there, it's probably there for a reason. And yeah, it's good to examine where you might be, as I said, choosing to focus on negative things because you're in a pattern of complaining, or you're in a pattern of wanting to snark and kvetch about things. I see that too. So yeah, check yourself on that one. I work with the person who asked this question, and I don't think that she has this particular issue. So, but in general, you want to make sure that you're not feeding a pattern where you naturally gravitate toward things that irritate you, that you don't need to let irritate you, right? Like a chatty Lyft driver when you could just draw a simple boundary, right? Someone who annoyed you at the grocery store, or whatever. Your bodega not carrying your favorite kombucha on a certain day. I don't know, just things that we give too much of our power to. Of course, this is also a journey of calling back our power from the things that are triggering or traumatizing, re-traumatizing, or feel like a big deal. So the farther along we get on that path, the less other people's behavior or projections upon us will affect our emotional state. So it is something to consider. Things that feel traumatizing at the outset of the journey, someone making an idiotic comment on your page, a fuckboy texting you something selfish and offensive. When you get more to like this stage of your journey, right? When you're over here, you'll just be like, whatever, delete, block, So sure, we want to hold space for where everyone is at in that journey. But I really would like to invite you to acknowledge where, if persistent negativity is coming up for you, especially on a given day, that is an invitation to sit with it and figure out where it's coming from. Because it wants to be seen, acknowledged, heard, and grieved so that it can be released. Because if we don't go through that, you got to feel it to heal it, right? If we don't go through that process, then we're just bypassing it and we're not actually excavating it. Oh, I just have to think positive. I just have to think positive. Well, yeah, it's good to focus on what you do want, right? Because what we focus on increases. That's smart. But ignoring that persistent knocking that says, no, we're not okay, is not ultimately going to contribute to our healing. So try out positivity and gratitude first. Am I just annoyed? Did I just get up on the wrong side of the bed? Do I just have to refocus on what I actually want this day to look like and get myself into that state by visualizing it? How is this day going to go? If I'm in a good mood and I feel happy and I feel in flow and I feel comfortable, I'm going to get my work done a lot faster than if I'm letting all this stupid stuff piss me off. But if that doesn't work and it's still persistent, then sit with it. You know, throw yourself a pity party, go deep. I have often said that our depressive episodes may be well-meaning alarm systems that our body is due for an upgrade, right? Oh wow, I feel tired, I feel lethargic, I feel awful, I feel irritated. Maybe that is a call to sit down, take a couple days, and do an internal workshop on it, you know? Journal, sit with it, be with it, untangle it, be in the energy of it, listen to it, give it a voice, right? Free write, free associate. And then, oh, there we go. That's what was bothering me. The second I realized that the reason I had been irritated for 5 or 6 hours that whole day was because I had been triggered by getting a Facebook invitation from a man who had sexually assaulted me back in New York City to his photography exhibit while he was in LA, I was like, oh, now I know why I've been irritated. This is the part of me that wants to be heard. This man doesn't even know that he violated me enough to not send me a freaking Facebook invitation to his photography show. I feel unheard. I feel unseen. I feel unwitnessed. I feel like my pain has been buried and repressed. Right? Okay. Well, now I'm going to unbury it. I'm going to witness myself. I'm going to acknowledge myself. And then when I give myself that, then I can let it go. Right? So if negativity is persistent, it's an invitation to sit with it and find out what's there. All right. I hope this is helpful. See you guys next time.